Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new episode of War in the East 2 editor tutorial. And yeah, as you've seen from the title, I decided to condensate not one, not two, but actually three kind of small topics into one tutorial. The first topic was actually suggested by one of you guys who commented on one of my previous episodes, saying but that he or she, most likely he, accidentally clicked on the next turn button. Now, when you are in the editor mode, the next turn button simply switches the mode. Now I am in the ground movement phase mode, and if you go over here, you go into the air planning mode, and this is particularly handy when you want to modify when you have exactly here you have the overview of the air directives and you want to modify the existing air directives. You select one of your air fleets, you click over here on ground attack, exactly, and then you see here you can play around with the starting scenario air directives. Now, going back to our tabs of interest, the first tab I wanted to talk about today is the leaders tab. There is, let's say, nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy, nothing too secret that can be discussed about it, because here everything is very, very intuitive. You have the ID, so this number over here, last name, first name, the nation. The nation is important in determining also the rank, exactly. And here again you see that you have the nations over here and also the number corresponding to each nation, and this will come handy when we will talk about the events editor. What I would say, what can be said about these is that is about the stats. There are no stats above 9. 9 is the maximum value that is found in the game, even though the maximum value that you can type is actually 255. This is like a recurring number. We will see it also in the units tab tutorial. I have been playing around with this, but honestly I didn't find much of a difference in changing the leader stats, because it's really an RNG system. Even though I said, for instance, once I tried, I set von Manstein to have 90 of each of these stats, besides the political one, but still I could get some failed admin checks during the supply phase. So you can buff your generals if you want with this, but you know, there is always, let's say, an element of unpredictability during the logistics phase or during the actions which are controlled by the RNG when messing around with leaders. Restrictions, maybe restrictions is set over here to discriminate which HQ the selected general or officer or leader better will command. Here we have ground only, so he will command ground-based HQ. SS, these are restricted for Germany, and the selected officer will only command SS HQs. Air and ground, if you have people like, for instance, Albert Kesseling, I think this is 0 exactly. If we find Kesseling, who no, Kessel, I think, exactly, Albert Kesseling, he commanded the Luftflotte 2 in 1941, and then he was promoted to commander of the armies operating in Italy. So he leads both. He can lead both air HQs, which are, just to as a reminder, they are these ones over here. These are the HQ for the leaders, and then also, of course, ground as well, and then yeah, navy. But this is just, I guess, a leftover from a war in the West, so you didn't have to worry about it. Maximum commands is which HQ can this leader command, so either corps for the Germans, or armies for the Soviets, army groups, or the high command. Available year, available month, last year, last month. It's quite intuitive. Maybe a couple of words on the last year and last month. Now, last year and last month does not mean that after June 1943 the leader will disappear from the HQ. No. the leader disappears from the pool, which means that if you replace, in this case, Alfred Keller with someone else, and you don't put him back before June 1943, when June of 1943 kicks in, you won't find Albert Keller in the pool anymore. But pre-assigned leaders do not disappear when their last available year and month is triggered. And then you have the promotion. Well, of course, let's pick Abram. Yeah, here you can set the day in which the general will change rank, and this will appear in the logistics report over here when you go to the leader section. And yeah, pretty much that's it for the leader tab. Also, the last thing, small thing, I never found a correlation between the rank over here and the HQ. Like, I don't think that by raising the rank, this guy can also, I don't know, command army groups or even the high command. I can be wrong. I never tested it, so take this information with a pinch of salt. And the other, maybe slightly less intuitive tab is the locations tab. Again, we have the canonical right side interface and the left side interface. Here we have the list of basically cities which are indicated, shown on the map. And here you have the ID and also the type of hex indicated over here. Exactly, so you can have, a heavy urban city, town, or sorry, also light urban, exactly. And yeah, I think if you go, for instance, on yeah, Bischdorf, yeah, let's it should say, it should indicate the type of hex. Like in this case, Bischdorf should be clear, but to be exactly town. Okay, I was wrong. Okay. Anyway, what is, let's say, more important are the information shown over here. Now here you have the list of factories present in that specific location. And this can be a very dense, let's say, section of the tab. Now here you can type the name. You can change the factory's name if you really want to. If you want to add some missing historical factories, or some, if you want to play with alternate scenarios. What if the Germans had a, I don't know, second Daimler-Benz plant in, I don't know, Rostock or Munich or wherever. This one here, this number here, is the ID of the factory, also shown over here, factory ID. And the factory ID can be found over here. This is the list of elements, but specifically if you want to have chassis, you have to manually type, in this case, Panzer III. No, I think it's chassis, exactly. So here you have the for some reasons they are not okay, here they are, sorry, yes, Panzer III chassis. You select it and there you have the ID of the Panzer III chassis. So this factory will produce chassis of the Panzer III, which in turn are used to build the real Panzer III as a ground element by combining this chassis and all the devices needed to build a Panzer III. Here you have the number, so how many factories are there, so 7, and then you have the damage, this one here, how damaged it is. In this case it's not damaged. Delay indicates how many turns, in how many turns will the factory become active, or let's say online. And then here you have, of course, the factory related to the ID. And then over here you have, you see a date, 20th of March 1943. And this is done, is a way to change the selected factory. Now here let's maybe pick as a raw example, or actually as an example, let's try to to add, actually, let's add a new factory in, yeah, Neusterlitz. Exactly, so here we have the heavy industry, and let's put here a Panzer II chassis. Let's say we have one, and then here you see you have the add change. Now the add change allows you to either transfer the selected factory, in this case it's move to, and if it's set to move to, you click over here, and then you pick the destination of the relocation of the factory. In this case we can set Leipzig, and then you click here, move to Leipzig, okay, and here you set the date. In this case it was 1941, let's say in December 7th, a totally random day, this factory will be moved to Leipzig. You can change the type of factory, so if you want to mimic like an upgrade of the factory of interest, here you can set, for instance, that on December 7th the factory is now changed to a Panzer III. Or here you can resize the factory. If the factory is getting expanded, you can now maybe change the size to 2, and on December 7th the size of the factory will increase to 2. What you can do also is to set the damage, so upon moving or upon changing or upon resizing, the factory will receive some damage. And here you also set the delay, so after December 7th, 1941, how many extra turns do I have to wait before the factory, in this case, either moves, changes production, or changes its size. And here you can have multiple changes, one below the other, like we have seen here in Berlin. For instance, here the Daimler-Benz changes from Panther III to the Panzer V, the Panther tanks first changes, and then it gets increased in size. And then coming, here you also have the attached units, if you have some AA units, or if the location has an airbase. And this is important to do it in the units tab, to link the airbase unit to its existing location. Otherwise it won't be shown, and exactly it's also indicated over here. Now in this last section of the tab, here we have, of course, the the player, in this case axis, and of course the nation over here. Now this is important, actually this is crucial when you want to change, why is this? I don't know. But if you want to change the starting position of the units, you have to change the locations of the nation of specific towns, but not the player. What do I mean? I mean that if, for instance, in the 1942 scenario, Kiev starts under German occupation. So let me quickly load the 1942 scenario. Okay, here we are, and if we now have a look at Kiev, it should say it's Soviet player, but nation Germany. Sorry, the other way around. Player axis and nation Soviet Union. And this means that this hex is now occupied by the axis. Otherwise, if you set the nation as Germany, you will get the full, let's say, manpower and other factories present in this hex. Population is the standard population of the hex. Location is, of course, the coordinates X and Y. Supplies, fuel, oil, and resources. Now, this indicates the supplies, fuel, oil, and resources which are currently stockpiled in that specific location. This is, let's say, critical in the logistics phase when you have the shipment of raw resources to the heavy industry. Heavy industry which will convert these resources into armament points, or will use those resources to build chassis or airframes or ground elements or aircraft. Airbase units, as I said before, this is critical in assigning the airbase to the specific location. Airbase size, 1, 2, or 3 air-based damage. XCTID, I have no idea of what it means. And depot type. Depot type is used in determining, first of all, if there is a depot in this location and which depot we are talking about. Because 0, of course, it removes the depot. 1 is rail. So rail depots are basically these, the ones with a locomotive icon. And then we have port. Port, of course, is used. Let's pick an example like Riga. Yes, like if you have, of course, a coastal location, you have to set port. Number 3, SRC means, I think, is the supply source, supply center. Because if we look, for instance, in places like Berlin, we have this star symbol, and of course this means that this is a exactly depot type national resource center production or something like that. And here you can also determine the freight level. In this case, we can leave to 1 million, I think it is. Oops. Exactly, so just type 0 and it will be automatically set to 1 million. The Soviets do have a few, a couple of, exactly these two here in Yerevan and Nakhichevan, yeah, and these are set exactly to just 4,000. These are very small national supply centers to let's say to give the Soviets some freight. Shall the Germans take control of all the ports on the Caspian Sea. And the last but not least, trucks is the number of vehicles present in this location. Let's quickly go back to Berlin. On map art, I have no idea what does it mean, and honestly, I never messed around with it. Merge with and build temporary port. Again, I never touched this. It could be that the temporary port is like a leftover from war in the West. Map text, I guess this is used, for instance, if you want to have some custom art, like this. No. Then I have no idea what the map text is. Yeah, and historical city owner change, here you can say, for instance, in 1941, June, and I think 30th. Exactly, so Lvov fell, maybe I think, on this day, and EST, again, I don't know what is it. This is just, I would say, for flavor. Oh yeah, sorry, map text is here, Lvov, that's the, yeah, that's... is the name of the city. Sorry, my bad. And then yeah, so this is just for cosmetic and also to activate, to shown in this when you activate this tab. And yes, I know that in the 1942 scenario somehow I lost all of the historical capture dates. I'm sorry about it. It's not very game breaking, game changing or anything, so I don't think I will ever fix it, to be honest. And anyway, that was it for this tutorial. Maybe it was a bit longer, but hopefully you did learn something new today. And yeah, in the next one we will talk about the air groups, and I will also mention the new editor, because we are approaching now the units tab, and there are some functions which can be used only in the new editor concerning the air groups and the units. But more about this next week. And as always, folks, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you all the best. And well, I hope to see you all in the next episode.